Hello, for this part, let's try to answer letter E, wherein we are given the equation x raised to 1 minus cosine 2x minus 2 raised to xy equals x squared plus y raised to x whenever xy is positive. We can take note that the first term is a function of x raised to a function of x, and the second term is just a number raised to a function of x. We know that the derivative of something of the form a raised to a function of x is a raised to a function of x ln of the base a multiplied to the derivative, via chain rule, the derivative of that function of x. Tama? So okay lang yan. This first term of the right side is just x squared via power rule. This can be easily done. But the fourth term, rather the second term of the right side, is a function of x raised to a function of x. We know that from the lecture, if you encounter a sum or a difference of terms wherein some terms includes f of x raised to g of x such that the base is positive, tama, then we can use exponentiation, or it is better to use exponentiation rather than a logarithmic differentiation. Okay, so let's transform first the first term and the last term as stated in the rule, wherein f of x raised to g of x can be transformed as e raised to ln of f of x raised to g of x, tama? Or simply e raised to g of x ln of f of x. So if you encounter such expression wherein you are sure that the base is positive, then you can do the following because ln is defined on positive values of f of x. But since x and y are positive, we can transform the first and the last term as e raised to g of x ln f of x. So let's try to do those things on the second line rather. So we'll have e raised to 1 minus cosine of 2x, tama, ln of the base x for the first term, minus this thing is as is kasi alam natin yung derivative ng a raised to u, tama, equals x squared is as well because we know how to differentiate via power rule. But the last thing is a positive base raised to a function of x or x itself, tama? So we can transform this as e raised to x ln of y. Do you follow? Now, since we have such terms, we can now use na-edit ko dito. Well, clearly, we can now apply implicit differentiation on both sides and isolate y prime afterwards. For the first term, what's the derivative of e raised to something? It is itself multiplied to the derivative of its power if the power is a function of x, tama? So for the first term, the derivative is itself, say e raised to 1 minus cosine 2x ln of x, tama ba? Multiplied to the derivative of its power. But the power is a product, so we need to use product rule, tama? So that's left to right, so 1 minus cosine 2x. That's left, derivative of right, which is the derivative of ln x, is 1 over x. Nasusundan? That's left to right plus right the left is copy the right function and differentiate the left one. What's the derivative of 1 minus cosine 2x? That is, the derivative of cosine is negative sign, tama? So the derivative of 1 minus cosine 2x is 0, tama? 0 is for the derivative of 1. And for the derivative of negative cosine 2x, that is negative of negative sine 2x. So that becomes positive sine 2x. Do you follow? But what's inside cosine is still a function of x. Hence, we need to multiply this by the derivative of 2x, which is 2. Okay? So that's for the derivative of the first term. How about the second term? What's the derivative of minus 2 raised to xy? So recall that the derivative of a raised to a function of x, say u, is the same as itself ln of the base multiplied to the derivative of u with respect to x by accounting chain rule. Tama? If u is a function of x. So the derivative of the second term is minus, again from there, we have itself ln of the base multiplied to the derivative of the power. But the power is again a product, so we need to use product rule. And this one is a function of x, so may lalabas dyang y prime, no? So let's use product rule. So left to right, we have x times what's the derivative of y with respect to x? Well, that's just y prime. Tama? Left to right plus right to left is copy the right, then differentiate x. And that's 1. Okay? So that's left to right plus right to left. So we're done with the first two terms in the left side. Now let's go to the right side, wherein we need to differentiate x squared and the next term. Well, x squared's derivative is just 2x, so that's easy peasy. Tama? But for the second term, its derivative is itself, tama, multiplied to the derivative of the power. The derivative of e raised to u is e raised to u times, by chain rule, derivative of the power of, the function of x in the power. Tama? So we have here again a product rule. So kanina, ganun din, left to right, x times 1 over y, because that's the derivative of ln of y. But since y is a function of x, we need to account for chain rule. So we need to multiply it to the derivative of y, which is y prime. So that's left to right plus right to left is ln y multiplied to the derivative of x is 1. So we are left with this equation. What's left for us to do is to isolate y primes. But where do you see y primes? We only see y primes over here and over here. Tama? So a natural way is to distribute this first. Tama? Then isolate y prime. Then distribute this one. Then isolate y prime. But I guess before doing so, ibalik muna natin sa original form itong dalawang to. Okay lang? So we'll have something like, the original form looks like this, guys, over here. We have something like x raised to 1 minus cosine 2x, tama, multiplied to 1 minus cosine 2x all over x, ito yan, plus, rearrange ko lang to, 2 ln x sine 2x, okay lang, minus, siguro dun sa second term, distribute ko na para madali na lang yung paglipat ng y prime later. So I'll have something like y prime 2 raised to xy ln 2. Tapos may x pa dyan, singit na lang natin somewhere siguro here. Okay lang? Then, for the second term nung distribution nito, we'll have negative y 2 to the xy ln 2. Tama? Sa kabilang side, copyhin lang natin, we'll have something like 2x plus this goes back to its original form, which is y raised to x times, distribute ko na rin, okay lang? Distribute ko na to dito. We'll have y raised to x multiplied to x over y times y prime. Tama? Plus, for the second term, Kapag si y to the x, minultiply ko dito, I'll have y to the x ln of y. So from here, pwede ko nang i-isolate si y prime. No? So ang gagawin ko na lang dito, lipat ko to sa right side, then the rest mapupunta sa kabilang side. Okay lang? So I'll have something like, sa right side, ang itsura niya ay, ito matitira, no? Y to the x. Okay lang? So yung y raised to x over y, pwede ko siya isulat as y raised to x minus 1. Tama? So y raised to x minus 1, x y prime. So ito pala yung ginagalaw ko so far. Ano pa? Lipat ko to sa kabila, magiging positive. This becomes positive xy prime 2 raised to xy ln 2. Do you follow? So okay na. Okay na ako sa dalawang to. The rest, copyhin ko lang to, tapos lipat ko to sa kabila. So I'll have something like x raised to 1 minus cosine 2x multiplied to this ugly thing here. Well, what's the convention in Math 21 is if it's very complicated, then leave it as it is. Okay? Then ito. So minus y 2 raised to xy ln 2. Then lipat natin si 2x, that becomes minus 2x. Lipat natin to sa kabila, that becomes minus y raised to x ln of y. Okay? We're almost done. Tama? Just need to isolate y prime here, and then let's divide both sides but by the remaining factor upon pulling out y prime. So let's pull out y prime. If we do that, what will remain inside the right side? What will remain is an x y raised to x minus 1 for the first term. Do you follow? Plus, for the second term, I'll have something like x times 2 raised to xy ln 2 susundan equals, let's just copy what's in here. X raised to 1 minus cosine of 2x multiplied to that long thing here. Okay, copy lang. Plus 2 ln x sine 2x minus y 2 raised to xy ln 2 minus 2x minus y raised to x ln of y. So after this, well, pwede mo na i-skip hanggang malipat ko lahat, no? Anong ginawa ko so far, nilabas ko lang yung y prime dun sa right side. Then lastly, we need to divide both sides by y prime. Lastly, we need to divide both sides by what remains in here. So you just need to divide both sides by this term here. So what is y prime now? Sulat natin. Y prime is that ugly numerator there. Okay na tayo dyan. Times 1 minus cosine 2x all over x plus 2 ln x sine 2x minus y 2 raised to xy ln 2 minus 2x minus y raised to x ln of y. That's for the numerator divided by this thing here. No? X y raised to x minus 1 plus x times 2 raised to xy ln 2. So this answer here is already acceptable for our course. Okay?